Who knew that growing up working on your family farm would be the perfect experience to become a brewmaster? Small-scale craft breweries are popping up all over Canada to help satisfy our thirst for locally brewed beer. I'm Angela Bell, and I'm drinking my way across Canada, one craft brewery at a time. I'm looking for real folks that are making real beer. This is Crafted in Canada. Just a couple of kilometers from where Henry Finkle built Southern Ontario's first brewery in the 1700s, the MacKinnon Brothers are farming their land to make some of today's most popular craft beer. Meet the MacKinnon Brothers, Daniel and Ivan, their cousin Ben, and their good friend Andrew. Together, they own MacKinnon Brothers Brewing Company in Bath, part of Lennox and Addington County in southeastern Ontario. MacKinnon Brothers Brewing is located on the farm that has been in their family for more than 200 years.
We thought maybe we'd try to run the farm and do some sort of value-added business. And I'd been working in the brewing industry, and my brother was a mechanical engineer, so we had some of the expertise we thought we needed, but we definitely learned a lot. Anyway, to open a brewery, so we thought, why not we give it a shot.
I think it's really cool, and I think it's cool how you've taken the old buildings and turned them into like your retail shop.
Yeah.
And, the underground here.
Yeah, the retail store used to be a chicken coop, and where we have our boiler used to be a grain storage, and the old barn where the brewery is was a straw barn. Yeah, and we're working on fixing up the big timber frame barn for kind of starting tours and maybe like a venue for bands or weddings or whatever. One of the ideas behind the brewery is we like to incorporate ingredients from our farm or other local farms into all the beers. My grandma was really into history, and she had the records of what they grew those years, and they were growing barley and wheat and some of the same things we've been growing here today. So we like to say perfecting the ingredients since 1784.
Daniel is the brewmaster. He works with Ivan and Ben to create their amazing beer. Andrew works the farm fields and hits the roads to sell MacKinnon Brothers Brew to bars and restaurants in the region. They all lean on each other to make their brewery a success, but instead of a boardroom table, they make their most important decisions in the great outdoors.
Yeah, there's a lot of chin scratching going on. We'll sit and we'll look at what can we do with that? A lot of it is for financial reasons. We're trying to be frugal, and a lot of it's just aesthetics, like what would look cool and what would be the most fun for us too. It's not always for maximizing efficiency and everything. We try to as well as we can. But that's actually how we decide a lot of it. We'll sit on these chairs and have a beer, and we'll talk about how we're going to design the next thing. It's not a lot of spreadsheets and blueprints right now.
The MacKinnon's family have been growing barley on this land for more than 2 centuries, and now they use that barley to brew more than 6,000 kegs of beer a year.
A lot of these fields look the same as they did 100 some years ago. That's our hop yard. They take a couple of years to get established. By the end of the year, of a good year, when you've got the hops well established, it should just be like a wall of foliage. There's one called Citra, and it gives you kind of that fruity, kind of a citrusy taste that we use in our Red Fox. And then there's other ones that give you a deeper bitter kind of taste, and they all do different things. Beer typically only has 4 ingredients in it, right? You've got your water, your yeast, your barley, and your hops. And just with those 4 ingredients, you can alter them and make infinite different kinds of beer.
The MacKinnon Brothers brew 4 beers year-round, including Crosscut, a nicely balanced malty ale that serves as a good transition into craft beer. The Brothers House Ale is also a lighter flavored beer with a crisp, citrusy finish that is popular in local watering holes. Their 8-man India Pale Ale is their strongest beer and has a nice caramel flavored finish. The inspiration came from Daniel's experience on the rugby pitch.
After I did my brewing school, I got a job doing research and development in the brewing and drinks industry in England, and they didn't have any hockey there, so I took up playing rugby, and this is kind of like a style of beer that we would drink after all those games.
My favorite taste of the day was their Red Fox, an easy drinking ale with citra hops and sour malt that gives it a nice crisp flavor. Red Fox gets its color from beets grown on Andrew's nearby farm.
Compound that makes beets red is called betalain. It's obviously there's some of that in that beer, and that compound's known to help prevent liver damage. So anecdotally, we like to say that it's liver neutral. There's no scientific evidence to back that up, though.
You just need a lot of people to drink it and then test them.
Yeah, exactly. It's got really nice citrusy notes to it that kind of go well with that red color from the beets. And we add the beets before fermentation, so the yeast actually, there's a lot of nutrients in the beets, and the yeast actually metabolizes those, and it causes the yeast to create different flavors from the beet juice itself.
You can taste the citrus in this.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, like when you said beets, I was expecting to
Taste beets?
taste beets.
Yeah.
Almost.
The thing about
But you
beets is,
don't.
yeah, they're really vibrant. So you don't need, they're used to be used as a coloring agent, so you don't really need that much. The color is so strong.
In the first 3 years, MacKinnon Brothers Brewing has grown faster than any of the partners expected. Their focus on locally produced ingredients and well-crafted beers is obviously hitting the right note with local craft beer lovers.
We really didn't expect anything in particular. We're just like, well, we'll make beer and try our best and see how it goes from there. But yeah, the community's been really supportive of the idea of the brewery, and I think because it being on the farm and everything.
Dan's beer is really easy to sell, right? So I'm not just selling it based on my own sales technique. It's easy stuff to sell. So that, I think, is a big part of it. There's a lot of people that, like in these the new breweries that are opening up around, they're just making good beer. We try to make sessionable, easy drinking beers, but you know, we're still using the honest ingredients. We're not putting like corn syrup or rice or anything in them.
It feels good to sit down and drink a beer that, you know, your buddy grew the beets for, and another friend malted the barley, and I made the beer, and then we sit down and have a pint after. It's a pretty good feeling.